Yeah, so hey, I'm Sayak. I'm a developer for Windows Sensors.
And I'm Eugen. I'm the product manager for the Windows Sensors team. And have you ever wanted your app to be able to react to your user without them having to even touch their device? Well, now they can. With the new presence sensing APIs, Windows apps and Windows can react to users' presence, engagement, and other signals. Um, so check this out. Like I have this app called Sensor Explorer. I've downloaded it from the Microsoft Store. You can do that today. It shows me all the different sensors on my device. And on this PC, I have a human presence sensor. And it can detect that I'm here and when I'm not there. So right now, it's detecting me and showing that I'm present. And then if I leave, it'll just say not present. So instantly, it can react quickly. And this is a kind of dynamic thing that your app can do as well. Before we get into the demo, I'm just going to give a brief overview. So in terms of what is a presence sensor, well, it's a new type of sensor that's on PCs natively supported in Windows 11 today. You can detect user presence. In the future, you'll be able to detect user engagement, attention, and more signals like head postures and gestures. And it's based on a variety of technologies like time of flight or computer vision. All the image metadata and all that stuff is processed locally on device, so none of your data gets transmitted to Microsoft. Only the relevant signals of presence and engagement are available to apps. And in terms of what APIs are available now, we've released, with the latest Windows update that just released yesterday, a new set of human presence sensor APIs. There's a new set of WinRT APIs available to presence sensor access, and it's just available to all native Windows apps. It can provide presence today, and you'll be able to add more signals in the future. And with that, I will hand it off to Sayak for the demo.
Thanks, Eugen, for the overview. So let's go on to the demo. And today we will be writing a C# application, UWP, where we use user presence and try to make some functionality out of it. So the first thing you need to do whenever you have a app that's going to use presence sensing is you need to put the capability in the app package manifest. So here you can see it defined as the human presence capability, and it's a device capability.
Cool. So what happens to your app when the user starts using it with this capability?
Yeah, so this capability is kind of like a beacon for your app to let Windows know, like, hey, I'm about to use presence sensing, and with this, bring the suite of features that protects users' privacy and security into Windows, so that the users can control what apps are using presence sensing and when.
That's awesome. So I'm in control of the privacy of my apps. If there's like some scary app that's going to use my presence sensor, I can block it. What does that look like in settings today?
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's look at the settings. So I'm going to go to privacy settings. And similar to like location, camera, microphone, you'll see presence sensing here. And this is what the page looks like. Users have complete access to turning the toggle off on a global level, a per user level for the system. And you can even see here from earlier in the demo, Sensor Explorer is currently using the presence sensing information. And you can even see an audit trail of what apps were using it and when. And you can turn off and on these per whatever you want.
Cool. So if I have a packaged app, I'll get my own individual toggle. But for desktop apps, what's the case there?
Yeah, so for desktop apps, you won't get the individual per app toggle, but you can turn them off on a global level for all desktop apps.
That's awesome. So now that our app has permission for the sensor, how does it look like in code in terms of access?
Yeah, let's go to the code. It's a lot simpler than you think, to use presence. So first, instantiate your human presence sensor. Then call our new API endpoint, get default async. And this is the first time your app is going to access the human presence sensor. And with it comes the capability that we saw earlier. So the users will see a pop-up that says, let this app use presence sensing. If the user says no, you will not have access to the sensor. If the user says yes, then you can implement your functionality with whatever happens. So be prepared to handle an unauthorized access exception. But once you have access, you can then start a reading change callback. And what reading change does is whenever the reading on the sensor changes, you'll get a callback, and then you can act accordingly. Here, let's check for presence supported on the sensor. Then let's give a simple toast notification that says, welcome to build 2023. You're present, you're not present. So let me rebuild this. And while it builds, let's go over to Edge, where we go look at Bing.
We had to bring AI in here somewhere.
Yes, and let's see if Bing can write us a sample app. So C sharp,
Let's
not
see.
C3, C sharp app using the human presence sensor class. Okay. So I'll let that simmer and see what happens. And yeah, so like what I just showed you in Visual Studio, if you're at home and you want to use our API, you don't have to remember what we did in the demo. Just ask Bing. It'll tell you. So this is kind of a demonstration that, it's AI, but it means that our API is public and everything's there available for you to use. So let's go back now that this is built and let's run our sample app. So click here, we'll get the default sensor. It sees me present. Right now, this is basically what Sensor Explorer is doing. You can see the toast notification. I'll walk off the screen, not present, says you're not present. Pretty simple.
Yeah, and like presence sensors, they can unlock a new set of possibilities. Like what other scenarios could you do? Could you be like Netflix or something like that?
Yeah. Let's say you're an app like Netflix, and you want to use presence to, enhance the user experience for when they're watching a video. And this is my favorite video about black holes. So let's see how presence works in this video. So audio's not working, disclaimer, but I'm watching the video, I'm having a great time with my favorite documentary, and then, I'm really thirsty. I go grab some water, video pauses seamlessly, and then let's say, I'm now quenched. I come back, finish my documentary, and I can now finish it,
So Netflix doesn't even have to ask, like, am I still watching or anything like that? It just automatically does it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does the code look like here?
Yeah, the code's pretty simple, like what we saw before. Before we evaluated presence, and then we're saying like, give a notification. Here we're just saying if the user's present, play the video. If the user's not present, pause the video. So this is like 2-minute code you can write. So pretty simple.
Cool. It's all exciting, but how do I try it out? Like, do I need a sensor on my device?
Yeah,
How does this one work?
Yeah, so this laptop right here is an internal sensor, but there's a wide variety of ways you can use presence sensing. There are external monitors on the market that come with the sensor in the monitor. You can also plug in external sensors that you can mount on your device to use presence sensing. And we've also have sample drivers you can install at home to make your machine emulate like it's a presence sensing device so that you can get access to trying out these features as soon as you want.
Cool. So there's devices out there in the market today like Lenovo ThinkPad X13s or the HP Dragonfly Pro that can already have the presence sensing capability built in. If you want, you can even buy an external monitor that has a sensor like the HP Z24M today and plug it into any Windows 11 PC and you'll get the presence sensor built in. And if you don't have any of those things, you can always download the sample driver and just test it out locally on your machine.
Yeah.
So this app works for Windows apps, PWAs, what?
Yeah, it works for all native Windows apps. So Win32, this was a UWP, and PWA support is going to come in the future when we add W3C to the API.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so what are the things people need to keep in mind when they have presence sensors?
Yeah, so this is like, this is a new world, presence sensors. We're adding new hardware into Windows. So there's a couple things you should keep in mind. First is the device that you're using for presence sensing. It comes in like a variety of flavors. It could be camera-based, where the picture doesn't leave the silicon, and then we get the presence, or it can be like distance-based, but we abstract all of that out and provide it to you in our API. And at the same time, what we've done is kind of combined all these different technologies in presence sensing and given the user complete privacy and security around it. They can see the audit trail, they can turn off apps, app access. So we really developed this with privacy and security in mind. And for developers, you guys at home, you can get the May Moment update for Windows 11 22H2 and play around with the API on your own.
Thanks, everybody. These are some resources, and try it out with the latest update for Windows.